Why were Soviet constitutions amended so often? Imagine a country that was constantly changing its rules to keep up with its own growth and challenges. That was the story of the Soviet Union and its constitutions. These documents weren't just set in stone. They evolved many times over the years. Why? Because the Soviet state was always shifting to match new political, economic, and social realities. Each amendment was like a new chapter in a long story of building a socialist society. At the start, the Soviet constitutions aimed to show the power of the working class. They were meant to embody the idea that the proletariat, or working people, held political control. But as the Soviet Union grew and developed, the constitutions changed to reflect new achievements. They formalized the role of the Communist Party as the guiding force of the country. They also adjusted how the government was structured to centralize power, which was essential for building socialism. Several key reasons explain why these constitutions were amended so often. First, leadership changes played a big role. After Vladimir Lenin died, Joseph Stalin and later leaders used constitutional amendments to legitimize their hold on power. Each new leader or shift in leadership often brought a new version of the Constitution that reflected their vision. Second, economic and social progress prompted updates. As the Soviet Union moved from more communism to the new economic policy and then to a planned economy, the constitutions had to keep pace. They included new laws about collectivization, industrialization, and social welfare policies. Third, the Soviet Union was a federation made up of many republics. As new republics joined or borders shifted, the constitutions needed to be amended to include these changes. They also had to balance power between the central government and the republics, which was a delicate task given the diverse ethnic groups and regions. Fourth, the constitutions served as tools to enshrine communist ideology. They made sure that Marxist-Leninist principles remained at the core of the state's laws and policies. These amendments reinforced the idea that the Communist Party was the leading force and that the state was building a socialist society. Finally, internal and external pressures also caused changes. During periods like Glasnost, the Soviet leadership made constitutional reforms to allow more openness and reform, all while still maintaining the socialist framework. In the end, these frequent amendments weren't random. They were part of a larger effort to keep the Soviet Union aligned with its goals of creating a classless, socialist society. The constitutions had to be flexible enough to guide the country through constant change, centralize authority, and serve the interests of the proletariat. That's why they kept evolving, reflecting the dynamic journey of the Soviet Union state-building process.